Hello everyone, welcome to BTV and coverage of Beeston's men's first home game of the season in the England Hockey Men's Premier Division. Today, Beeston host champion Surbiton, and it will be, as ever, a test of skill and concentration against a team that is absolutely jam-packed full of goal threat. Can the Bees achieve a first victory over Surbiton at home since October 2013, or will Surbiton claim the points? I'm Andy Day in the commentary box, and alongside me in our COVID-secure position is Steve Musson. Good afternoon, what are we going to see today?
Yes, good afternoon, Andy. This is, you don't get a better standard of hockey in this country than seeing Surbiton turn up against you, and obviously they're one of the most direct sides in the country. They've got goal scorers all over the pitch, but in particular they've got three who are absolutely prolific in Alan Forsyth and Ben Boone as players that score from open play, and Luke Taylor, their short corner specialist. So it's a formidable force. As well as that, they've got players that service them very well from the midfield, and their pace of attack will be a delight to watch this afternoon.
So a good game in prospect. To bring you up to speed with some of the results from around the competition, a look at the women's results from week 2. All of these games being played yesterday. East Grinstead 3, Beeston 0, Loughborough Surbiton 0-0, a bit of a surprise there. Clifton Robinson's 3, Wimbledon 1, Buckingham 3, University of Birmingham 2, and Swansea Holcombe coming away 5-0 victors there. And a quick look at the table. East Grinstead are the early pace setters with 2 from 2. Surbiton in second place. Loughborough Students taking up third position. Beeston are currently in 10th, looking for their first win and first goals scored of the season. Looking at the highlights from last time out, here is Beeston Women's debut in the 2020-21 season versus Hampstead and Westminster. Battling well, that's nice. And that's a good release down the left-hand side. Can Beeston penetrate the circle? They do, towards the baseline. Who's there to support? Is that a foot? Yes, it's the first penalty corner of the game. And it's gone the way of the home side. Let's have a look. Quick movement down the left-hand side from Beeston. Turner. Into the circle. Things are opening up, and that's flashed across the face of goal. No one was able to turn that good opportunity in. Looking to press. There's a swarm of Beeston players blocking the route to goal. However, the ball's into the circle now on the baseline. Could this be a shooting opportunity? Umpire points towards the goal. Penalty corner for Hampstead and Westminster. First opportunity from the routine for Hampstead and Westminster. There's the trap. Played hard low and wide of the goal. Umpire's outstretched arms indicating wide. Nervous. Last season, Hampstead and Westminster have been prolific from penalty corners. There's the ball out. It's trapped, it's in. Goalkeeper Rizzo is down. It comes off legs, and it looks like we've got a repeat penalty corner. I think that's what the umpire saw. This time, a little bit more movement, played in low, it's loose and defended really well. However, it's a repeat penalty corner. Fourth now for Hampstead and Westminster. I thought for a moment. Movement again from Hampstead and Westminster. It's low, it comes off the goalkeeper and defended really well with a foot, and it's a defensive free hit for Beeston. They've survived a real spell of pressure from Hampstead and Westminster. The away side. Neat ball forward into the circle for Hampstead and Westminster. There's a layoff, and that's the opening goal. The visitors have taken the lead. 24, Holly Hunt has opened. Not allowing Beeston a sniff of an opportunity of trying to win the ball back, and that's good towards the edge of the circle. Shooting opportunity here on the reverse side, and that is a second for Hampstead and Westminster, doubling the lead so quickly through the gears into the circle and into the back of the goal. Not allowing Beeston a sniff of an opportunity of trying to win the ball back, and that's good towards the edge of the circle. Shooting opportunity here on the reverse side, and that is a second for Hampstead and Westminster, doubling the lead so quickly through the gears into the circle and into the back of the goal. Whistle blows. Quickly onto it. Hampstead and Westminster making their way towards the edge of the circle. That's a nice turn. Shooting opportunity. That's wide of the upright. Really, really good chance for 3-0 for Hampstead and Westminster, but it wasn't to be. 3 minutes to play. Quickly moving forward are Beeston. Is this a chance to get onto the score sheet? Played in towards the circle, and that is a penalty corner. Beeston will have an opportunity here for the second penalty corner of the game, and that's a green card shown. Players from Beeston gelling and standing up to an awful lot of scrutiny. And there is 70 minutes. The game is over. The first game of the season ends in defeat for Beeston Hockey Club, and it's 3 points in the bag for visitors Hampstead and Westminster. And that's the state of play in the women's competition. Our attention turns now to the men's Premier Division, and these are the fixtures for week 2. It was 0-0 for a long period in the game, the match starting at 12 o'clock. 6 minutes away from finishing. Exeter University 2, East Grinstead 5 is the latest score. The match starting at 1 o'clock. Old Georgians are 4-0 up against University of Durham, and that's very early in the game there. Brooklands Wimbledon, 20 minutes into that one, 0-0, and of course our attention is on Beeston Surbiton, which is in the setup. Starting at the same time, Oxford versus Holcombe. But of course the game of the day is the game we're bringing you, Beeston versus Surbiton. You can see Surbiton are top of the table with 1 win and a goal difference of 7 already in their first game. Beeston mid-table following their great result last weekend against last year's third place team Wimbledon, Steve.
Yeah, that's right. I spoke to Stephen Wood, first team coach, during the week, and he was very pleased with the way that Beeston had played. Their expectations were that playing against Wimbledon at their place is going to be very difficult, but he feels that their work rate is good and they've had a good pre-season. A few new faces and a few returning players for the Bees, but it's gelling together very well. Indeed, we were talking at the Beeston players on who's for a goal threat today. You can't really look further forward than Samapula or Adam Dixon. I mean, Samapula scoring 4 in the Tier 1 final. Adam Dixon, he seemed to discover a real knack from penalty corners recently. Yes, I think he's carrying on from last season. He was towards the end of last season. He found his direction and his power and his angles, and he was getting a few goals there. He's carried on this season. And Samapula, it's the second time at Beeston, and he really has changed and flourished into a dangerous forward now. Indeed, we're having a good look at both of those players as part of their warm-up. So that's the Bees we're really focusing on today. Opponent Surbiton today, we've really got a couple of players to focus on. Luke Taylor, who's number 3 for Surbiton. Yeah. He's scored 5 goals already this season, all penalty corners last week. And also he scored 5 goals on this ground. And there we go, in the picture now is the player we're talking about, and he's such a threat. He is. It's probably the easiest coaching point to make. You don't want to give away penalty corners. The set piece is very dangerous, advantage to the attacking side in your D, and he is an expert flicker, and that basically means he's able to send the ball towards the goal at power, low or high into the keeper's net, and is very difficult for the man to stop. Top goal scorer in the competition last season, he's already hit the ground running in this one. Alan Forsyth also lingering around the top of the circle. You can see him now just moving away, and he's particularly a threat from goal. He was 4th overall with 19 from open play plus a penalty stroke last season. And I think that's the point when you look at the goals throughout the clubs last year. Surbiton got 3 from the top 10. And the spread of the types of goals that they score is very interesting. You've got Alan Forsyth and Ben Boone, who are very capable of scoring from open play, and then of course backed up with Luke Taylor from his penalty corner. So it's pretty much dangerous from all parts of the territory, and added to their speed of attack, you have to be on your mettle. Indeed, it will be a test for the Bees. As you can see, Beeston are getting their final preparations. Buzz the Bee in the middle of your camera now. Of course, Buzz isn't going to be playing today. Unfortunately, he's been dropped following... no, of course, Buzz the Bee, the mascot here at Beeston Hockey Club, bringing joy to all and sundry. If we're able to, a quick look at the match day squads, if we can. I know they're being finalised, so I wonder if they've come through. Yes, they have. Beeston make 1 change, and that's Henry Croft. He's in for James Hunt. What's the reason for that, Steve? Well, James Hunt, I understand, dead leg last week in training, and he's not been able to shake that off. So Stephen Wood said it was a close call anyway, because he was looking at whether or not he would use the extra forward in Henry Croft, and it's good to see Henry in there again, because as he didn't play last week.
And the Surbiton side, goals everywhere, and a very good goalkeeper in Harry Gibson as well, alongside the players we've already highlighted.
Absolutely, and I think it's worth mentioning that at the moment, when you see Brendan Creed back in their side, that is a good thing. He's had an awful year with an anterior cruciate ligament injury, and his meticulous attention to his rehab has seen him back in full action now, and I'm glad to see that happen.
Indeed, he's got an awful lot of fans who aren't necessarily Surbiton fans for his efforts as well. He does a huge amount of work for charity as well, which is excellent to see. So those are your match day 16. Surbiton are in the white shirts, Beeston in the dark shirts with the yellow socks, and I don't want to say what's your score prediction, but I know it's been one-way traffic really for Surbiton in previous seasons.
Yes,
Will we see a tighter game?
Well, if they haven't talked about that, they ought to have done, because the phases of the game today are very important for Beeston, particularly this first session, this first part of the game, where they've got to make sure that they are organised, break down the speed of Surbiton's attack, and make sure that they're not letting Surbiton get into a position like they did against Brooklands last week, where they're scoring early and then they're able to run away with a result. So Beeston should be tight and ready to go from the start.
Indeed, you just saw flashing up on your screen your umpires for the day, Lee Barron and Dan Barstow, and they'll be controlling the game, and hopefully shouldn't be too involved with the cards today, I anticipate.
Hopefully the case.
So that's it, we're all set, moments away from the start of commentary on Beeston men's first home league game of the season, Beeston versus Surbiton. Surbiton in their huddle, getting their final instructions. You can see 23 is that is Gibson in the 23 shirt, although listed as 1 on the team sheet that we've just seen. Although I think there's only 1 goalkeeper in the squad today, so that should make things easy.
Yep. And it'd be interesting to see how Surbiton starts. I mean, every single time I've watched them, it's been flat out from the beginning. They are quite capable of completely missing out their own midfield in their eagerness to get the ball into the opposition's danger areas. And
you can see Buzz the Bee getting involved with a team talk as well from a social distance as well, which is nice to see. You can see just to the side, coach making their way out. That's Stephen Wood, isn't it, who's making his way away from the plate. Umpires are ready, players are ready. This is going to be a great game on BTV. Match starting at 2 o'clock. We're a little bit behind schedule, but we're moments away from the start of play. Umpires are ready, plays are ready, everyone's ready. Let's get the game underway. And it will be Beeston to start play. No ball patrol, as is the case with the COVID security at the moment. Beeston in the dark shirts attacking the boulevard end in the first half. 2 quarters in this first half, of course, is 17.5 minutes. Standing by everybody.
Mark on the ball there. 2 former Bees in the Surbiton side as well, Tom Salisbury and James Gorg, so it'll be interesting to see how they play.
1 or 2 final adjustments before we get underway. I think there's someone dashing behind the scenes, but we're all good, and Beeston go straight to the corner from the off, and this is impressive from the word go. Cruikshanks trying to really make things moving, and Beeston starting boldly. Dixon flicks it across the field of play towards the circle, tap down, good defence from Surbiton, and I think this is an indication of the pace this game is going to be played at.
I think that's right. This is the dangerous bit. The turnovers from Beeston will come back to haunt them if they're not careful.
Into the circle from the word go, and that flash is just wide of the upright. I think that was Ben Boone with a reverse side shot.
That's what would worry me most of all, Andy, the turnover and the counter-attack play, whereby they get their players forward very early, and that nearly led to a shot on target.
And how quickly from one end of the field to the other.
4 or 5 seconds, I think that might have been, and that's the danger.
Indeed, you've earned your stripes there as a pundit. You called that before the game even started. That's something to look forward to, and that's a real worry for the Beeston defence, and that you've got to be alert for that pressure coming in from the word go. And That was a risky one, but it has worked out for Beeston as they cross the halfway line. This is the fastest I think I've ever seen a start to a top flight game of hockey.
And it's interesting seeing Adam Dixon. He loves these kind of games where he knows he'll have to perform to his best, and he's quite capable of doing that. And already he's been on the ball a lot, and he's changed his position frequently in the first 3 or 4 minutes.
Turnover on halfway. Zach Wallace playing the ball towards the edge of the circle. That's just beyond Boone again. Boone very much involved.
3 very high players for Surbiton already. They're not afraid to put their whole forward line in the D, even if that's behind defenders. It's very difficult for defenders to make sure then that they pick up the ball accurately. Any kind of miss or deflection and the forwards are onto it.
These have been high-scoring affairs in recent times, and everything that the coaches have said to the Beeston defence has been adhered to, but sometimes you just can't stop a side that's so geared to attack.
Yeah. And this is, again, the same sort of situation.
Forsyth so close onto it, but he's won the benefit of a free hit here. Surbiton not wasting any time. Laying it back, Wallace to go forward. Sorsby back to halfway. Creed. Nice to see his hair's growing back as well.
Yeah. And the whole Surbiton team at that point already in Beeston's half, so it's very important that Beeston lads get their basics right and there's no deflections.
Indeed. Allowing Creed to have a little bit of time, as long as they don't cross that white line. I think that's where the Beeston forwards will start to make a nuisance of themselves. Nice take.
A lot of space there.
Into the circle, flick behind, a lot of pressure.
Nice.
Tapped out of play, yeah, well watched. Under a lot of pressure as well. Nice one from Nick Park. Has he won the sideline ball? I think they have.
Well, I'm pleased to see Beeston work that out. Their outletting there from the back under a bit of pressure was very accurate. Close passing, good control, and that is exactly the way to do it.
Nice zip in the Beeston defence as well, not allowing the pressure to settle from the forwards of Surbiton. So a reminder, if you're just joining us, it's Beeston in the dark shirts attacking the boulevard end. That's left to right. Surbiton in the white shirts attacking the car park end. That's right to left. We've already had a good opportunity from Ben Boone, who's been quite heavily involved in the attacking circle. Beeston really
good skills from Carl Marshall there to avoid the Surbiton forward.
That one going out on the full, so a defensive hit for Surbiton. And again, look at the nuisances they're trying to make and not allowing Surbiton to get out towards halfway, although they have done just that. Wallace plays it off.
Well, in the game of hockey, the forwards are very important defensively. They have to work hard into shape early to stop this kind of interplay from the Surbiton players.
I'm just out of breath watching this. This is a real big start. And have we had the first penalty corner of the game? I think we have.
Yeah, some tight interplay on the D edge there and a little deflection onto a Beeston foot inside the D, and that leads to a set-piece penalty corner.
Indeed, so all eyes on Luke Taylor, number 3 from Surbiton. Let's have a look how this developed. The pace into the circle. I think that just went through and possibly bumped off Josh Pavis.
Yeah, that's right. It's so important in the D, particularly against a side like Surbiton, that you are low in your defensive position and you keep your feet out of the way. If it hits the foot in the D, it's a penalty corner. As you can see here, that's a huge advantage to the attacking side.
Indeed. Beeston, they're getting their defenders to try and defend this, so the goalkeeper's in the goal as well as 4 other outfield players. They're getting their face protection on now to defend this penalty corner. The ball has to go out the side of the circle and then comes back in again for the shot. Let's see what happens here. 2 options around the edge of the circle. You can see the players just further back. It is, and it's been repelled by the Beeston defence, still live, and that is the opening goal of the game. Surbiton have scored, and it is Adam Forsyth, I think, is taking the credit.
Well, what a shame, because the defensive setup from Beeston was very good, and they've saved the first shot on target, and then it's fallen to Alan Forsyth inside the D.
I think it's actually Rob Farrington, number 4. Let's have a look at it again.
Yes, there you go.
It is number 4, Rob Farrington. He scored last week and he scored this week. Again, late goal last week, early goal this week. 1-0 to the visitors. That's technically a penalty corner goal, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's excellent hand-eye coordination from Rob Farrington to hit the ball. It was off the floor and he's hit it so accurately into the bottom corner of Beeston's goal.
So, the good work.
6 minutes.
Yeah, the good work from Beeston. And into the circle already. This is a shooting opportunity played low and hard. And that's gone out straight on the full. So
that's a shame. That wasn't on target as well.
indeed, Lucas Ward with the effort. This is, I don't want to repeat myself, but this is lightning quick, this game.
And Beeston will be keen to try to get back into this quickly, but they've got to be patient because they don't want to leave themselves open or change their pattern for the want of getting back into it quickly and leave Surbiton too much space.
Let's have a look at the movement to the right. Crookshank's playing it down, yes. Movement down the right-hand side. Alcalde wins the ball from this position.
Yeah, nice to see him back at the club this year from Junior HC Barcelona.
Indeed, he had a productive spell first time around, and he's hit the ground running, scoring in the Tier 1 final. Crossfield diagonal ball, that's bounced, should be picked up in the circle. That's worked out really nicely for Beeston. At the baseline, is that turned in?
Yes.
It is, it's an equalising goal for Beeston.
Now that is the perfect response.
And indeed, it's Alcalde who's turned the ball in from close range.
The build-up play for that was very good. Adam Dixon triggered it quite deep in his own half, but then the interplay was good. Good use of the aerial by Ollie Willars. And here, the control on the baseline, excellent.
Gibson was on the ground and the arms outstretched from Alcalde as he went off to celebrate. I told you this is a fixture full of goals, and we've already had 2 within the first 7 minutes.
Well, Beeston are going to have to make sure that their shape is spot on, particularly in the middle of the park where Surbiton are notorious for gaining a lot of ground. So,
just winding back a bit, credit for that crossfield aerial ball from Ollie Willars. Not many players would have tried that.
No, the use of the aerial is so important, really. A lot of players just throw it anywhere for the heck of it, but if it's used in the right directions and player to player, as Ollie Willars tried there, it can be a very useful way of building an attack. Indeed,
we've seen balls like that recently in some other more junior games, and they've been more hopeful rather than direct, and things have worked out really nicely. Beeston cross halfway here, looking to get on the score sheet again, although that's not as it was intended.
That was not a very useful ball in field.
Spencer to Orange and Chana. Into the circle again, shooting opportunity low and hard. Defended stoutly. Here's Apula, 22. Shielding the ball from close attention. Has he found a teammate here? Yes, he has. That is very neat from Alcalde. Alcalde tries to bring it forward. He's been mopped up in the defence. And Surbiton have got numbers and can shepherd the ball to safety via a couple of passes.
You can see how hard Surbiton are working. They had 6 or 7 players back very quickly to slow down Beeston's attack. But Beeston's work rate is matching it, and I think that's something that will please the coaches.
Indeed, 9th minute. Beeston 1, Surbiton 1. If you're just tuning in, Rob Farrington scoring first for Surbiton. The lead didn't last long at all. Lucas Alcalde equalising from very close range. And we've got a great game on our hands here.
I think one of the features of this is going to be the getting to the ball quickly for whoever the player nearest to it is. And
fired into the circle, low, hard, long corner. That's the first long corner of the game, so the ball coming off of Beeston sticks, and this is an opportunity for Surbiton to play the ball on the 23-metre line. Low aerial ball, flicked up into the air, Dixon getting a stick on it. Sideline ball for Surbiton. I feel like I'll be doing a lot of the talking today because there's not a lot of time for analysis.
There we go, there's a good example of how you need to get to the ball quickly.
There's a free hit on the edge of the circle, clear whistle from the umpire. I think that may have brushed a foot on the way through, so this is what we're looking at now. Going this way and that moving out to the left-hand side of the circle. That's come off the stick though, Beeston defensive hit.
Just a little bit of composure and a bit more settled play from Beeston. There's a bit of a phase there where Surbiton were beginning to get on top of the defence, but this is an opportunity now to just slow it down a bit and then go back to the steady build-up.
Indeed, so composure in defence, and again Surbiton happy to let Beeston have possession here. It's not hurting them particularly, but you can see the pressure starting to come on as the ball creeps further up the field. Yes. That's well shielded though, good work from Robbie Gleeson.
They will, they'll wait their time, Surbiton in the press, to make sure that they pounce on the defence at the right time and as a forward unit.
Appeal for a free hit, yes, lovely work into the circle. The ball being watched closely by the umpire. And look at the pressure right in the corner of the field. Surbiton, though, have done very well to get it out from there, though, over towards halfway. Beautifully kept in from Ollie Willars. Watched it, controlled it, and gives it to Dixon. Dixon now looks, twists, turns, finds a Willars again.
Very, very good at making space, Adam Dixon. You saw how, even though the players around him, he was able to create 2 or 3 metres of space for himself. Could be direct here.
It's fallen kindly. Beeston still have the ball. And nice little cameo from Nick Park in the past couple of minutes as well. Number 10, he's been quite heavily involved.
Well, Nick Park's somebody with a lot of skill. He's quite capable of going around defenders and giving himself some open play opportunities, and he needs to do that today. Play confidently.
Indeed. Indeed. So a defensive hit for Surbiton. Not real time to change the game plan yet. Things are working well for both teams. Aerial ball, whistle goes for Surbiton, and they bring numbers forward quickly. Pace with Tom Sorsby. Sorsby rides 2 challenges. Beeston come away with the possession.
Nicely played again. Very good play in outletting for Beeston.
And the home side has the whistle again. Neat cross-field ball being picked up by Pavis. Pavis lets it run on a little bit too long. Easy turnover from the side for Surbiton.
Just a little bit of nervousness still in Josh Pavis there, and he's not quite got that under control. Just on that aerial, Andy, the honour falls to the attacker, sorry, to the defender in those situations. When an aerial is thrown, forwards must remain away till the defenders have an opportunity to control the ball safely.
Indeed. There's an awful lot of people watching who know the sport, and also a lot of people who are tuning in maybe for the first time, so we're trying to cater for all audiences here on BTV. Bit of a breakdown, and another bit of an interception. However, whistle blows. Beeston have got the benefit of the whistle here, coming into the 13th minute.
I don't see any reason why the Beeston players can't be confident in their own ability. There's some skillful guys here. This is good play.
Indeed, spreading the ball out wide to the right-hand side. It's been mopped up neatly. Strong stick on that on the edge of the circle from the Surbiton defence, and pace coming out from Ben Boone again. Lays it off to Spencer. Spencer gets it quickly again towards the baseline, looking for a foot possibly. Play continues.
Ollie Willard's done well there to make sure he keeps that ball, and he's released it nicely to this Proctor, I think that is.
Indeed.
And another connection higher up the pitch. Now forwards need to make sure they keep it there for a moment or two.
Nick Park, number 10, busting a gut, getting towards the penalty spot at the moment, although the ball is being shepherded well out by the corner. Beeston still have it. Is there a route in towards the circle?
It's a bit loose, that. It's still picked up by Beeston.
Park with it, gets towards the edge of the circle, gets a free hit in a very dangerous position. As a player, you'd want the free hit on the right-hand side of the circle rather than the left, wouldn't you?
I think it's... I think when you're on the edge of the D, it's dangerous anyway, but certainly right side build-up play is quite useful.
Takes a couple of touches, play continues.
They need to
into
get
the circle. Is it going to find a foot? It's been another Beeston free hit from just outside once more. Good spell of pressure, this.
Yep, good defence from Surbiton. They'll not want to let anybody get near winning a set-piece corner. And he's still there with it, Nick Park.
Indeed, they're trying a little what they call 3D skills with the ball in the air. And it's another free hit, finding a foot in that. Technically, this is good defence, although it's not particularly neat, although play has been held up.
Deems have not taken it far enough away before he put that ball into the D, and it's turned that over to Surbiton's defence. Good little spell. Pity they couldn't upgrade it to a penalty corner, but, ooh, that was close.
Real good running from Gareth Griffiths, trying to chase everything down.
I think it's good to watch Beeston closing down the Surbiton players as quickly as they are, and they're going to have to keep that up for the whole of the game. Indeed.
I know it's been a tough summer for everybody, and the hockey fitness has been mostly cardio, yes, and not a lot you can do in terms of passing and manoeuvring. So it'll be interesting to see how long the players' engines, for want of a better phrase, last in this game under this intensity.
Well, that was one of the points Stephen Wood made to me there. He was thrilled to bits with their fitness levels last week against Wimbledon.
That's just been tapped out of play from David Goodfield, so it's a Beeston ball. Looked very close from here, but obviously the umpires have got better views of it than we have.
A little one-on-one drill there between David Goodfield and Adam Dixon, and Adam is a very difficult player to beat in those situations.
A little bit of a crowd scene and a miscontrol.
Very important, the readiness of players. That was, from an early point in that, it was likely to go to Henry Croft, and he needs to be well ready for anything that's heading in his direction.
One match ball at a time. That's the way things are working, and that match ball must be sanitised. So if anyone touches it, we'll have a break in play for that ball to be replaced. We had that quite a few times last week. Not had it so far, to my knowledge, in this game.
When I was playing, Andy, we only had one ball.
If it went over the fence, that was it. Match is over.
Yes.
Break happening for Beeston. They're going to go with a free hit. What's the option here? Option was probably to go quickly, but decision is leave it.
I think sometimes you need to just wait on those and make sure that the players get to their right roles. Turnover at that point for against Beeston would have been a bit too troublesome.
Nice bit of movement to get the ball into the 23. That's been pickpocketed and quietly pulled away. And Surbiton looked to step on the gas.
The pace of that. Well covered, Kyle Marshall.
Kyle Marshall's got the what haircut he's got these days, but there's an awful lot of light hair on top of him.
I think it's called dubious.
Okay, here's an opportunity. There's Poole has made it into the circle. Can the ball find him?
Oh, again, if you're going to use those tight skills there, you've got to be spot on, because Surbiton defence are not going to get caught like
Indeed,
that.
and quickly from one end of the field to the other. Forsyth looks to be the provider here, and he plays the ball across the face. A goal, didn't get a touch on it, but again, how quick was that move from one end of the field to the other?
And when you look at the trigger point, which is the turnover in that situation, as you say, Andy, that time.
Well, talking about time, it is quarter time already.
Great first quarter. It's been end-to-end and thoroughly entertaining. A lot of good skill, and work rate has been an absolute feature, I think, from both teams. And I'm glad to see that Surbiton obviously feel they've got to work hard as well. It's not going to be an easy ride for them, we hope.
Indeed, 17.5 minutes that went by very quickly indeed. And a quick reminder of the score. You can see on your screen at quarter time, it's Beeston 1, Surbiton 1. Beeston opening the scoring through Rob Farrington converting a penalty corner on the second attempt. That lead did not last long at all. Lucas Alcalde, who's been in good goal scoring form recently, popped up with to turn a loose ball in.
Yes, yeah.
2 minutes later.
Yeah, he looks very useful at the moment, does Lucas. He's contributing a lot to the counter-attack and the build-up play. I think if Beeston need anything now, sooner rather than later, it would be a penalty corner if they can win one.
Indeed. Goals, 3 goals last week against Wimbledon.
Yeah.
And yet to see them, but I know you were keeping a close eye on the game. Were they well-worked affairs?
Yeah, the first one, Adam Dixon, was his classic penalty corner. Second one was Sam Apula, quite close in. A little bit like the one that Lucas Alcalde's just scored, because I noticed that Sam Apula was close in there as well, and he likes those types of goals. He's a very poaching type player around the goalkeeper. And then Chris Proctor from open play, actually from a worked short corner at the end in the 66th minute, and that gave them the 3-3 draw. Although they had been leading actually at 2-1, Beeston were ahead at that point.
Okay then, so the teams have had their instructions over that 2-minute quarter-time break. What would you have said to both teams in a sentence?
Well, I think Stephen Wood would be telling the Beeston guys that they've got to keep their work rate strong. He would want to limit the easy turnovers, because you can see how quickly that allows Surbiton to progress through the middle of the park. And because of the way that their forwards work, that gives them a lot of space. From Beeston's point of view, their attacking down the right-hand side has been fruitful for them, but they need to progress that to a penalty corner, I think.
We have the match ball in the middle of the field, as it was in the first quarter. Beeston will get us underway. Still attacking the Boulevard end in this first half.
Because of the nature of hockey, Andy, with its rolling substitutions, you need your players ready to come on at short notice, and they need to play at least at the level of the player that they've replaced. Otherwise you get gaps in continuity and work rate. Good cover, nice cover there by Robbie Gleeson.
Stepped in, got the ball.
Good.
Again, nice triangles being worked. Is there a layoff here? The pressure's coming in, and it's been picked off on halfway.
And that's the worst kind of turnover. It's in the middle of the park, and it should have been passed away, because the build-up play before that was very good.
And I think Beeston get the whistle there, they do, and That will give opportunity. They wanted to take it quickly. No, no. Let's get a few more bodies
set.
up.
Yeah.
Yes. Willars.
Carl Marshall's looking composed and strong in his defensive position today. Good pairing, Carl Marshall and Ollie Willars. There's a lot of speed and with Ollie's experience.
Indeed, 21 years old, Kyle Marshall, and I think he plays a little bit beyond his years.
This is the bit that's bothering me the most, the number of times that the Surbiton midfielder are able to pick up either loose stuff or intercepted passes, and it gives them all the control they need and would wish for, really. Beeston back into a half-court press where all the players are in their own half, looking to try and stop any penetrations to the middle of the park.
Indeed, Surbiton have looked at their most dangerous when they've been on the counter-attack, so
yes,
being resolute and making it difficult to cross the halfway line, that nullifies that.
Yes,
so
yeah.
Big shout there. There was a big shout of play. Beeston have been fortunate there and look to move very quickly towards the edge of the circle. They're in the 23 already. Player goes down. Beeston free hit. More chance to pile bodies in. But no, play it quickly.
Needs
towards
to
the
be in
baseline. And he's in the circle. Is that found a foot? Umpire absolutely right on it. You couldn't ask for better position, could you?
No, and I think that's been well defended. That was a definite intention to get a short corner from a foot, and the defenders read it very well indeed. But that's what you'd expect from defenders of probably the top club in the country at the moment.
Pressure coming.
Good.
Trying to win the ball back are Surbiton, but Beeston have held on here. This has been a very, very encouraging 20 minutes, and I think a little bit more than encouraging.
Using the space very nicely. Their interplay has been very good, and they've been prepared to take on Surbiton players one-on-one. Just need a little bit more success, a bit more outcome from that play, and hopefully they'll get themselves into the D.
Pressure again across the back. Surbiton happy to get that across, trust the skills, and has that gone out of play? Yes, it has.
Yeah, yeah. You see, sometimes the pressure that you can apply on defenders leads to an error such as that. He's missed past that over the sideline, and a lot of pressure going on from the forwards. Henry Croft working very hard. Adam Dixon likes to get the ball in those tight areas and is very secure in his possession, and that's nicely down the left-hand side.
This is a very, very good Beeston first half. A big appeal for a foot, and I think that's been given. Yeah,
he knocked the defender knocking the ball away as well. That was something that I think Nick Park was looking at and see if the umpire would give him a green card for that, which is a short temporary suspension.
And we've had a long burst of the whistle that's brought the Beeston movement to a close. Surbiton have that turnover.
It's unfortunate. It was
oh, that's interesting. Player managed to intercept the ball and lose the stick in the process, and so he had to run out of the way to make sure that the stick didn't interfere with the play.
Robert Gleeson dropping his stick there. But again, we've got that.
Oh, here's a shooting opportunity. Hujwan comes in and hits the outside of the goal, head in his hands. Alan Forsyth, real golden opportunity for him and not taken.
Well, two things about that. Alan Forsyth in far too much space and no direct cover from the pass from the travelling player to him, so that's a mistake by the Beeston defence. But Simon Hujwan did very well to stay upright and make him think about how he was going to shoot the ball past the keeper.
I know they've had a couple of decent battles over the season, Alan Forsyth coming out on top in the main, and I think it's one of his favourite grounds, apart from Sugden Road, Alan Forsyth.
Yes, he's a prolific striker. It was a bit surprising there. I was fearful of that becoming their second goal, but credit to Simon Hujwan.
Yeah, out quickly as well, and closing the space down. Sometimes you close the space down, it's easy for the attacker to suddenly scoot around the goalkeeper and shoot into an empty net, but he stood tall and made it difficult. So credit to both players there. On the baseline, go Beeston, trying to find the circle at the boulevard end.
Brendan Cree very calmly gets that out, and instantly it's into Surbiton's midfield, and we're on a counter-attack again.
Indeed, zigzag patterns as the ball presses, and that is again good stepping in from the Beeston defence. Now here's Griffiths playing the ball over halfway. Alcalde lays it off.
Just make sure it's positive in your passing.
Nick Park was nearly pickpocketed.
Yes,
the whistle has gone his favour, and that's a risky ball across the middle of the field.
Well, there's no doubt you do have to take risks if you're going to win games and get forward, but that was too close, I think.
Towards the edge of the circle again, and it just dribbled out of play for a sideline ball. It was close to going out for a long corner, but no, it was a... Or actually, no, we've been brought back.
I think Beeston will be happy with some of the attacks they've created, and they certainly running with the ball has been successful for them.
Hutchings plays it towards the baseline. A little bit of a miscontrol, but one on the second attempt. There's number 7, Griffiths, plays it towards the edge of the circle. Been mopped up and great stick speed from the Surbiton defence to not only trap the ball, but flick it towards halfway. Willars gets the benefit of the whistle and quickly moving possession towards the 23-metre line again. And that's another Beeston free hit. I'm going to run out of voice by the end of this.
The restarts from Beeston have been very good indeed, and it's put Surbiton under pressure. This is exactly how you need to play against them.
Nice layoff, but it doesn't pay off, and Surbiton can clear.
Talked about that readiness. Look at the space, though. That's
for Scythe. He's allowed to run with the ball, but support.
Well played, Kyle Marshall. That's very well watched.
Hovering into view, Ben Boone. He was obviously the first choice for Scythe. And Beeston come through a crowd of players. That's
nicely played out again, very controlled. It's not fallen to anybody, but
no, it's good pace as well, because it was designed to stick on the field, not just to run out of play and give easy turnover to the opponents.
That's right.
Give your opponent something to think about.
Two sides working very hard here. I think
ferocious aerial ball, by the way, but that has bounced. Who's it come off? Let's have a look. It should be a Beeston ball, and judging by the players' movement, it is.
The height of the Surbiton forwards really needs to be taken care of. They are not averse to playing really, really high on the baseline or wide, and of course you can find the ball there. It allows the other players time to catch up.
That's neat. I think a little bit fortunate, but neat all the same. And that's good running from Adam Dixon, who's tried to go a long way with it.
Not happy with that decision, I don't think. No. Oh.
Surbiton worked through the Beeston midfield like it wasn't there. The ball was in the circle. Long corner signals the umpire on the baseline.
Great cover from Ollie Willars. He's managed to put that off the back without it hitting his feet, but Beeston need to shape up quickly, which they've done.
Luke Taylor spreads it. I'm sure he's going to receive it again in a moment, but no, it's straight towards the circle. And
neat little play from Surbiton. Fire it into a player who's free, who just deflects it into the D and sees what a mess he can create. Again, Beeston have covered that.
More pressure, ball being fired in towards the circle. What's the outcome here? Well, Beeston have it, and that's instantly pressure coming in from the forwards of Surbiton, and dealt with relatively well, but pressure still not being let go as Surbiton get into the circle. Big crunching coming together,
well played.
Big appeal, and Beeston have the whistle that goes their way.
The second defender there, what you'd probably call the second wave, was very alert to the loose ball, and as we were saying a little bit earlier, Andy, getting onto those loose balls is absolutely crucial if you're going to defend well.
Just need to retrieve the match ball, and here it is. Or unless we're having it clean. No, I think we're just having it. It's just gone a long way. Yeah, a little bit of misdirection, so we've got to pause, and everyone can gather their breath for a moment or two whilst we back underway.
Well, the thing with games at this tempo is you're really waiting to see which team cracks first in terms of either their loss of work rate or a bit of stick skill that goes out of the door, and it could happen for either side. Crunch
ball, and that's a little bit too easy.
I agree. I think that midfield players have got to understand what's happening from Kyle Marshall's hit delivery and make sure they get on the end of it.
It's tiring just to watch the amount of effort on both sides being exerted at the moment.
Another use of the aerial.
That's bounced, and that is beyond everybody, but that was close to the target, wasn't it?
It was.
Directed aerial ball.
Arjun Drayton Channer there, he was finding a bit of space on the right-hand side. Two players who I don't think have featured that much. Chris Proctor for Beeston and Arjun Drayton Channer for Surbiton. I'm sure that they'll emerge at some point.
Indeed, he played last week, Drayton Channer, and scored, so he knows where the goal is, certainly.
He can be quiet for periods of time and then suddenly come alive.
Sideline ball for Beeston. Gleeson plays it a long way.
A little bit loose that, with no ball pace, if it wasn't accurate enough. It's giving Surbiton their attack again.
And the layoff doesn't work for Surbiton this time, and that's been won and shepherded out of harm's way from a Beeston perspective. Now they're moving quickly through the gears in front of the bench side towards the baseline. That's gone through a pair of legs there. I think the idea was to try and win.
It was, but you can see how many players that commits forward, and so Beeston have got their got to do some hard work again to get back into shape.
Oh, 2 players going for the diving interception, but the ball does drift all the way out to the Surbiton player on the far side. There's 3 in the circle in white. Now a 4th one joins them.
Come on, lads, let's get on that. The ball's there to be taken, but they were slow in it. Looking a little bit out of sorts.
Play being held up there for a free hit. A little bit of frustration coming out from the Surbiton forwards. Ball played in towards the penalty spot. Could be a shooting opportunity. Loose ball blasted and in for the second for Surbiton.
I think that's been deflected in from James Gall. We'll see it again in a moment, but I think it was going wide from the first shot, and I think he's deflected it in.
Let's have a good look at it again on the video. There's the turn, there's the shot coming in. Yes, it was right, Forsyth with a shot, but turned in closer to goal.
Yeah. I mean, that's a shame, really, because Beeston's energy has been excellent, and that came from probably an unnecessary sideline hit that put them all under all kinds of pressure, and haven't been able to reshape themselves, and that's the first time that's happened.
James Gall credited with a goal from close range, number 26 for Surbiton. So it's Beeston 1, champion Surbiton 2 as the half-hour ticks over.
It doesn't take much, does it, for Surbiton to get themselves ahead. Little mistake, probably the only one for a while, and they take advantage of it.
So half-time coming up in less than 5 minutes now. It's time to think about what you might say to your teams. Surbiton, do you need to change anything? Beeston, do you need to change anything? How you play differently?
Well, I mean, both sides have been soaking up a lot of attacks, and as we said a little bit earlier, it was one of the sides would crack a bit, and I think it was an error from Beeston that led to the possession that gave Surbiton that space in the D.
Now, the home side, Beeston have a free hit here. Option could be to go aerial, but no, it's across the base of defence and work it and ease the ball up over halfway. Now that's a nice take.
That's a lot of space. That's a lot of space.
Into the circle, big appeal, free hit for Beeston. Again, the right-hand side, support coming in.
Good closing down by the Surbiton defence, stop the cross into the D.
Ball on towards the baseline. Has it been kept in? Yes, it has. In towards the circle this time, and that's a brilliant bit of defending, trying to just get the stick in before the player got in the way. Really good stuff, but Beeston are on the attack again in the circle now.
Yeah. Restart from the 23-yard line for Beeston, and
long corner is the decision. We've just got a long burst of the whistle from the umpire. Just seeing what's going on here. I think the umpire wants to make sure that there's no bumping in the circle.
Yeah. Just feel that Beeston in the D could be a little bit more strong and purposeful on the ball. There's a few chances they've been in there, and they've not quite, and they've certainly not won the corner, which I think they'd be wanting to do.
You can't just fire the ball in towards the circle, given the coverage that's there, so it's got to be worked, and that's a loose ball in the air.
Let's let that go. But
Beeston have got an opportunity here. They've certainly got the free hit, and they're looking to work it quickly into the circle. Here's a chance. Padded away, sticks go flying, and we've got a stop on the clock. And down on the floor is Robbie Gleeson, and he's getting it up okay. There was a moment there when it looked like it was a big smashing together.
Yeah, I think Robbie in that position, a good open position for him. I think going for the slap hit allowed Gibson to close over the angle quite nicely. Maybe a first-time hit would have been better there.
Now, the umpires are having a bit of a coming together. Are they having a chat? What's the outcome? It's going to be a Beeston restart from the 23.
And Dixon's in the heart of this, and it's not quite gone to a Beeston player again. Bit of sharpness needed in there, I think.
Absolutely hammered a long old way. Did that? That's definitely gone off because it hit the goal behind the side.
You see, sometimes there's a real argument for just smashing the ball away to take pressure off, and even a side like Surbiton are quite willing to do that if it gives them a bit of time, and Beeston have got a restart from virtually in their own half.
Lofted ball from the halfway line. That's been tapped behind, and that's well worked. It's easily up the other end of the field quickly from Beeston. They've got a long corner, taking it here.
Because Samapula didn't close the defender down quite rightly, he's made him struggle a bit, really, and that's what's led to the possession. But they've got to get something out of this.
Kept in just on that far sideline towards the baseline now. In the circle. Is there an appeal? No.
It's gone off the back here.
Long
corner. No, long corner. There we go. They call it a long corner. It used to be taken from the side.
Here's another break that's gone Beeston's way. An incredible bit of skill there. Beeston looking to end the half on a high. Again. There's no angle again to fire the ball into the circle, so it's got to be worked towards the baseline, and that's been miscontrolled. However, the whistle has gone in favour of Beeston, and further back is the call.
I think if two of Beeston's players, to pick on a little bit, I think Chris Proctor and Robbie Gleeson want to get a bit more out of themselves, really. They've been a bit quiet.
In towards the circle. Firm stick on it from a Surbiton perspective. Neat trick as well to make the space, try and clear. Beeston happy to knock it out of play, keep Surbiton penned in, and hopefully win the ball back for that far up the field. Into the final minute of the first half of play. Beeston 1, Surbiton 2. Is that the way the score line will be at the end of the first 35? Surbiton trying to earn another opportunity, and it's been very close to being presented to Ben Boone on a plate. However, the ball's gone out of play.
Second example of that, Andy. Each one for Beeston, one for Surbiton.
Fired into the circle, but a bit too high for everyone's liking, so it will be a Beeston defensive hit as we come towards the final 10 seconds of the half. And that is actually half-time. The umpire's whistle has blown, and the scoreline at the end of the first half is Beeston 1, Surbiton 2. A quick recap of the goal scorers. Rob Farrington scoring first, and with a big finish from close range on. Yes. And then it didn't last long. Lucas Alcalde converting from close range again after a big build-up. Goalkeeper a little bit stranded, and the ball turned in from Alcalde. And James Gall, former beat, made it 2-1 for the visitors. And with another finish from close range. A little deflection. We thought it may have been Forsyth with the finish, but it wasn't. It was James Gall who's turned the ball in. What do you make of that?
Well, it was a fantastic half of hockey. I mean, it's so enjoyable to watch, or should I say 2 quarters, but it really has been equally potent from both teams, and it's just a shame that slight error in the 30th minute gave Surbiton the edge, because I think Beeston will be pleased with their competitive edge in this and the way that they've got stuck into the game, and Surbiton have been made to work hard.
Indeed, this has been the game of the day that we brought to you on BTV. 35 minutes gone, 35 minutes still to go. Which way will the points go in the England Hockey Premier Division for men's hockey? Stay tuned for the second half. I think this is an indication of the pace this game is going to be played at.
I think that's right. This is the dangerous bit. The turnovers from Beeston will come back to haunt them if they're not careful.
Into the circle from the word go, and that flash is just wide of the upright. I think that was Ben Boone with a reverse side shot.
That's what would worry me most of all, Andy. The turnover in the count. Stop this kind of interplay from the Surbiton players.
I'm just out of breath watching this. This is a real big start. And have we had the first penalty corner of the game? I think we have.
Yeah, some tight interplay on the D edge there, and a little deflection onto a Beeston foot inside the D, and that leads to
yeah. 2 options around the edge of the circle. You can see the players just further back. It is, and it's been repelled by the Beeston defence, still live, and that is the opening goal of the game. Surbiton have scored, and it is Alan Forsyth. I think he's taken the credit.
Well, what a shame, because the
crossfield diagonal ball that's bounced should be picked up in the circle. That's worked out really nicely for Beeston at the baseline. Is that turned in?
Yes.
It is. It's an equalising goal for Beeston.
Now that is the perfect response.
And indeed, it's Alcalde who's turned the ball in from close range.
The build-up play for that.
But the stick didn't interfere with the play.
Robbie Gleeson dropping his stick there. But again, we've got that.
Oh, here's a shooting opportunity. Hujwan comes in and hits the outside of the goal, head in his hands. Alan Forsyth, real golden opportunity for him. and not taken. Being held up there for a free hit. A little bit of frustration coming out from the Surbiton forwards. Ball played in towards the penalty spot. Could be a shooting opportunity. Loose ball blasted and in for the second for Surbiton.
I think that's been deflected in from James Gall. We'll see it again.
Camera's live. Microphone is off. Adam, the camera's locked on. Welcome back to BTV. The sun has come out here at Nottingham Hockey Centre and it's been an electrifying first 35 minutes. It's Beeston 1, champion Surbiton 2. As we approach the start of the second half, you can see the players are making their way out. Whilst those are happening, it's a quick look at the scores from the other games going on today. The first game finished Exeter 2, East Grinstead 6. Big finish there. Old Georgians beating Durham by 8 goals to 0. And that's their baptism of fire for University of Durham. Brooklands 1, Wimbledon 2. There's about 6 minutes still to go. Of course, it's Beeston 1, Surbiton 2 here. And it's all square, Oxford versus Holcombe, 1-1 at half-time. So, Steve Musson is with me in the commentary box. Again, absolutely social distance. We've got our COVID curtain separating us here.
We have.
And what can we expect in the second half? Will the players be able to keep that tempo up for another 35 minutes?
Well, I think that'll definitely be the case. I think the tempo will remain high. I think Beeston will be very conscious of not wanting to let Surbiton get a 2-goal lead on them. So they'll be making sure that everything is tight and organised to start with. They need to find their way back into it. I think penalty corner might be an option, and they're certainly capable of getting to the opposition's D. I think Beeston's build-up play has been excellent, and they need to keep those patterns going.
If you're joining us at half-time, it's Surbiton in the white shirts. In this half, they're attacking the boulevard end, as you can see the cars down there. And already they're on the edge of the circle. And have they found a foot in the middle of that? There's a shot towards goal. And that's been spirited away for the first long corner. Again, a very, very quick start. Yeah,
and that's certainly Beeston have got to protect against this, because Surbiton will want to get this extra goal lead, and then I think they'll feel they can move on from there.
It's a long and hard blow on the whistle from the umpire on the far side. It's a Beeston ball.
A couple of defenders just caught napping
a little bit.
Oh, that's
not a great ball out of defence, but mopped up by Adam Dixon. Real horror in the defence for Beeston, but they've got it away and over towards halfway now. Decent run.
Yeah, so important you don't make these mistakes, and the Surbiton will certainly feed off them, but at least Beeston have found their way into possession in a good part of the pitch.
Indeed, attacking the car park end as they are now. Beeston in the dark shirts, if you are joining us for the first time. Control, shielding, and pickpocketed.
Yes, yeah. Again, making sure you get to the ball first, and if you do, hold on to the possession. Absolutely crucial, and Surbiton have come out of that the better.
It seemed to be one or two little ticks of the clock between receiving the ball and moving it on. And
great use of angles there by Surbiton to move that forward, but at least have stepped in the line. And again, Chris Prock's a little bit off his game at the moment, I think.
You were saying that we haven't seen a lot of him, but that's a sort of game where we'd pop up and score the winner.
Yes.
Big attempts at the aerial ball, and it looks like Surbiton have got the benefit of the whistle there.
Yeah, a few little moments. I think if you were to just look at maybe 3-4 errors already from the Beeston team, and I think they need to eliminate those and get back to that form they had in that first half. Space.
Played out towards the right-hand side. There's 3 black shirts blocking the route in towards the edge of the circle, and the ball has trickled through everybody. Is it going to be kept in? No, it isn't. Surbiton have possession, and it's a strong start from the visitors.
Easily eliminating the forward.
Taylor powers it in, and is that a foot in there? Oh, real risky defence, but it has been worked eventually. I can imagine the panic.
Surbiton have hurried Beeston so quickly in this first minute or so that I think they've just lost a bit of their calmness. Adam Dixon will probably try and put that back in place now, I'd have thought.
Indeed, where's the movement? There's not a lot of movement behind, but that's where the ship is being steadied at the moment, with 1 or 2 triangular passes to try and move the pressure. Here's Dixon, twists very quickly, tries to play the ball forward to halfway, and Beeston bringing it forward now with Crookshanks.
Well, unfortunately,
here he is again. Crookshanks quickly moving towards the edge of the circle. He's gone the long way, and he's won a free hit here, and a chance for Beeston to put more bodies forward. But immediately, look at the white shirts blocking the routes towards goal and passes.
Yeah. Now that needs to go somewhere painful.
What do you mean by that?
Putting it into the dangerous part of the D without it being picked off by the Surbiton defender, as he's done there. Just upgrading a bit from that high-pitched possession to make it difficult for Surbiton. But they've come away nicely again, as they're very calm in defence, and they're outletting patterns.
Although that has evaporated for Surbiton. 39th minute, Beeston 1, Surbiton 2. Sun shining. I don't feel like we've seen the end of the scoring here.
No, again, talking to Stephen Wood, his hope was that we were in close competition with Surbiton well into the second half. I think he's got that at the moment. He felt that then they might be able to put enough pressure on to get close to Surbiton's scoreline, wherever that was. And I think that they've just settled a bit now since the restart. Except
well, given the ball away in a real opportunity here for Surbiton to come forward. The support's coming. The ball's on towards the edge of the circle now. Oh, big stick on stick. Play carries on in towards the edge of the circle. Big appeal from the Beeston defence, and they've got it.
Yeah, they did well to get back and cover, very much scrambling in defence to get into shape, but it's worked for Beeston, and they come away in possession.
You can hear the sound of the foot hitting the surface as the players are putting everything into this. And I think that's not 5 metres, so Proctor happy to leave it back. With it now, Tom Crowson.
And this is what we were hoping would happen from Chris Proctor. He's coming alive a little bit. It's looking like he's getting into it. He can feel opportunities. Oh, it's unlucky.
Effectively bounces off the Beeston forwards.
Space again, there
Surbiton
we go.
Turned it on very quickly. There's a player over here. Hujwan has been beaten, but the ball is wide of the upright. And you can see the arms outstretched from the umpire signalling that.
Yeah, Simon Hujwan had to be on his mettle there. He's closed down the space to the receiving forward quick enough and forced him to miss-hit it, so that's worked out very well.
Ben Boone was number 6. He was the player with a shot a few moments ago, and he's the player closest to the ball now. And he's picked it up. Supports in the middle. It's not been found, and it was Rob Farrington, who's already on the score sheet, trying to get into support.
It really does fall to individuals sometimes within games, team games like this, to question themselves and to get them to think about whether they're up to the tempo of the game, whether they're thinking about the next move. Josh Pavis a bit sloppy there, I thought. This is better interplay.
Indeed. Now the ball seems to be stuck to that right sideline. Has it been carried over from a Surbiton stick? It has. Now, mention congestion from time to time. You're trying to run through all of the players.
Yes.
You just can't do that. It's easy to defend. So the idea is trying to make those inroads. Surbiton have the ball by the corner flag here. Can they get out of this pressure from the Beeston forwards? They've done it a couple of times already. The Beeston have won the ball back here in towards the circle, and it's been picked up again. Look at that little bit of coming together. Real aggression being shown from the Beeston players, but really well measured from James Royce, number 14 for Surbiton.
Yeah, Surbiton very good at spotting where things are getting a bit dangerous and tidying things up, making defensive work easy.
Ooh, popped up there. That looked very close to a leg from my vantage point, but obviously wasn't close enough for the umpire's perspective. And Surbiton have a free hit on the baseline, more or less. Real pressure again coming from the Beeston defence, try and win the ball back, make Surbiton go the long way. It's out towards the right-hand side, pulling the Beeston defence this way and that's a penalty corner, first of the second half.
Yeah, the transfer, high up the pitch, transferred very quickly out of a tight corner for Surbiton and across to the side, gave space for David Goodfield, and Chris Proctor basically just ran straight into him, and of course that's going to be a penalty corner. This is really quick, into a dangerous place. All he has to do is run in a straight line, keep his stick on the ball and take the foul, and it's a very easy way to win a corner.
Indeed. Sometimes you can say set pieces in commentary, and lingering around the edge of the circle, number 3, Luke Taylor, who scored 28.
Yes.
27 of those being penalty corners last season, top scorer. Yep. So number 3, second in from the left would be the player, but also Alan Forsyth is 17. He's to the left of him. What's going to happen here? Low and hard would be my guess. Yeah,
they'll also run other players in front of the goalkeeper and the 2 post defenders, just to make things complicated.
A little bit of movement for Forsyth this time, and that is the third.
Low and hard, and there you go. It's makes it look very simple, really, and it's all about the power and the accuracy.
Wow, wow, wow. Let's have another look at that one. So,
I think that might have gone between Simon Hujwan's feet.
It was, and that's goal number 6 of the season for Luke Taylor.
Yeah, need to keep your heels together there. Simon Hujwan, here we go.
Chance here. Wide of the goal.
So unlucky. It was a really good attack. For all the world, that looked like it was going to be a goal, but it's gone wide. 3-1. Difficult scoreline, really, because you now have to think about committing to getting back into it. That can leave a lot of space for Surbiton, who thrive on that kind of a game setup, and so there's a bit to do for Beeston now. And it all came from probably an unnecessary short corner.
Indeed, so dangerous from the penalty corner routine. I think you can just see from a little bit of body language, it's knocked the stuffing a tiny bit out of Beeston here.
Yes,
but it's still time to regroup, find a bit of inner strength, get back into the game.
So much of your work rate is about making sure that when you arrive at a defensive position, you're in the right shape and physical position to make the tackle, and Chris Proctor didn't do that, and of course that's led to the corner.
Working it into the circle again, defended, and Willar's doing very well to not only win the ball but take it out of harm's way, and he's taken it a long distance. It's been carried out from Surbiton player, and Willar's looks to go from the side. He's done extremely well for his team now.
He's good on the ball when he runs in those sort of situations. It's difficult to dispossess him, and you need your defenders to do that sometimes.
Dixon with a little bit of a tap back, but no, play's not quite moving.
Teams often use the passes into the midfield as a way of finding movement to get out of trouble, and that was done very well with Alan Dixon there.
High congestion on the far side of the field, but the ball's rolled out of play. 46 minutes almost completed. Beeston 1, Surbiton 3.
You can see how we talk about the attacking prowess of Surbiton, but you can see how good they are in defence as well, because it's proving very difficult for Beeston to get into their D.
Another long blow of the whistle. A ball for Surbiton via the aerial.
Yeah, happy to play it all the way back to the defence. Slight error there, but nothing to worry about. And then a lot of space.
Indeed, it didn't invite huge amounts of pressure. Apula is beaten on the ground, and the ball is quickly towards the 23-metre line. Boulevard and Dixon now for Beeston. Shepherds the ball.
Off. No, that's fallen to Sam Apula. That's good. Nicely passed on.
Indeed, good play. Can this be worked towards the edge of the circle? Who's moving the ball out? Oh, out towards the right-hand side, being kept in. Is there a pass on? Not quite, but it is a Beeston ball.
Yeah, it's good enough. It's they're moving the ball around nicely, and that's still happening. They're conscious that they've got to get back into it, obviously, but they've not broken their shape to do it.
Willars looked to hammer that into the circle, but opted to go out to the right this time. Oh, is that going to be kept in play? No, it isn't. It's one of those moments where, for all the sharpness and crispness of the early start of the game, it started to break down a tiny bit for Beeston.
Yeah.
And that will be frustrating for the players and the coaching team, I think, as well.
Individuals just making sure that they're completely on the game, and we're sort of still looking at the same two characters, I think, really, who will be trying their hardest to get up to speed, but that was Robbie Gleeson, who's deflected that ball off the back from a good attacking position. Very frustrating.
I think it must have come off a Surbiton stick, so it's very quickly hammered forward, but that's... I think it was past the right area, but there wasn't enough time for the forward player to anticipate that, and that was Alcalde trying his level best. That's gone all the way through here. Boone rolls it back to Spencer. Spencer towards the edge of the circle now. Has he found a foot? No, that's mopped up really well, coming together. Beeston defensive here.
Well, that's Josh Pavis doing very well there. He stayed low, he's kept his eye on the ball all the way through, and very easily defended that and taken the possession. So it's good to see him getting himself set ready.
4.5 minutes or thereabouts until three-quarter time. Still plenty of time in this game for Beeston to come back into it. There's goals in this side. We know they've scored them in good number recently, and against good opposition too.
And the thing about hockey as a team sport is that you can see scorelines turn very quickly. It would only take one goal from Beeston at this stage to really put some pressure on Surbiton, and that's what they need to try to get to.
And the ball is a Beeston ball. And we can see a mass series of substitutions taking place.
Yes, these are the rolling subs, a bit of an art in itself, really, making sure you get the right player on at the right time. And
good pace. Has that been kept in? It's just trickled over the baseline.
So frustrating and so close for Beeston at times. This is
and
good.
It's a good turnover here in the circle, coming together. Griffiths was closest to it. Strength in the Surbiton defence, and that's not only well watched, but the pass is excellent as well. And on their bike,
well, Gareth Griffiths needed to be very strong on that, and it's left
Hudge one is down, and that is another one.
I mean, I don't know who's got a clock on that, but I think that was 7 seconds from the ball with Gareth Griffiths to being put in the Beeston net.
Ben Boone is the goal scorer, number 6, and that looks like it's all the points for Surbiton, with still a quarter of the game still to play.
That's some counter-attack. The pace of that is rapid. Of course, Surbiton were very close to getting themselves into the European competition, and despite, obviously, it was cancelled for them, and it would have been interesting to see them play some of the European teams in the EHL.
In towards the circle again, relentless pressure now coming from the visitors. And it's interesting to see what Beeston do here. Possession presented to the away side. Penalty corner.
Yeah, you become so tempted to try things in your quest to get back into the game, and things go adrift. And of course, Surbiton have waited and been patient, and they're looking for these slip-ups, and they feed off them.
So, Simon Hudgebon has faced 2 penalty corners already. Both have resulted in a goal.
Yeah, he'll be conscious of, he's doubt in his mind already now, because obviously the first flick from Luke Taylor was low and hard, and now does he try to stay down and keep that protected, or will it go high into the top of the net? He's got
Certainly
a lot of thinking.
He's giving a bit of guidance to the outfielders who are going to come and join him in that goal.
And who'd be the #1 runner as well, Andy? You've got to sprint from the baseline next to your goalkeeper and get to the man who's taking the shot or the flick and try and get in the way.
Indeed, a little bit of a hold up here whilst the protective gear is being put on. Of course, we want to make sure everyone's safe as the ball is being played in. Interesting from Hudgebon, he's facing the opposite way. Is that a psychological thing, do you think? Or?
Yeah, I think he's trying to focus his mind, and they'll Beeston probably leave 2 defenders on the line.
Here comes the shot.
And he's seen that one.
Yes, it's still live though, and there's a player down here, and I think that is a nasty one. And on the ground is Matthew Cruikshank, saying he's okay, but I certainly wouldn't fancy that. And it looks like it's a repeat. So
yeah, it's hit him. I think that's hit him on the leg.
I'm hearing shin pad is the thing, so that's not particularly good news. It's a lot nicer in the grand scheme of things when you've got a shin pad in the way, but it's certainly I wouldn't choose that.
No, no, it's not something you'd want to happen very often. It's that ball's travelling anything from 80, 90 miles an hour. If it hits you square on the shin pad,
indeed,
shin pad only is a slight help.
So around the edge of the circle, we've got the furthest left on your picture is #3, Luke Taylor. But around there you've got Captain Johnny Gall as well. And James Gall, let's see what the play is here. That's been saved on the line, low, and the ball is still in play. It's down, and that's through everybody. So that's...
well, Simon Hudgebon has been making saves. You can't fault him for the... you know, he's seen a few of these and made saves. It's interesting how often it's coming back into play, and Surbiton are following up very nicely and looking at the second shot. Thankfully that time it's worked in Beeston's favour.
Indeed. Do you think it would be something, given the amount of video that you can get these days, that the Beeston coaching team would have watched and watched the Surbiton corner routines?
They will have done, and they'll have learnt as much as they can. But of course, when you've got a talent like Luke Taylor, he's capable of varying it whilst it's happening, and so he will look at the lines of defenders and he'll look where space is, and that's where the potency of his flick comes from, really.
Indeed, before the most recent spell of Surbiton pressure, I was saying that what do Beeston do here? How they approach the final quarter of the game, because there's still another 17 and a half minutes still to play.
Now, just noticed again Robbie Gleeson on the line there. He's not brought that under control, and it's just run away from him again.
Player over here, but it's gone centrally this time. First time control, that is neat.
Yeah.
And around the edge, in towards the circle, but carried over via a Beeston stick. Long corner for the visitors. 15 seconds till three-quarter time.
Lots of hesitation from Surbiton in the way that they fire the ball around.
Yes, it's been fired in. Is that been turned in? Yes, it is.
Really good example there of getting the ball into the D. They've just really sort of bobbled that in, and it causes all kinds of trouble for the defence.
Indeed. It's just a quick note, it's three-quarter time as well. That was the final touch of the ball in the third quarter, and it's Ben Boone we're hearing with a final touch from close in.
When you've got players as good at that as they are in front of the goal, anything that you can just throw in there, the advantage is to them straight away. Beeston finding it very tough now.
So, Beeston 1, Surbiton 5.
Amazing how quickly it's gone to that, hasn't it? It was not that long ago that we were thinking that Beeston might get back into it in some way, and eventually if you run out of steam and you lose a bit of shape and some of your individual skills go, then Surbiton just capitalise on it.
Indeed. So this is a fixture that always produces goals.
Yes.
At the 21st of September, so pretty much 12 months ago at Sugden Road, it finished Surbiton 4, Beeston 2.
Yeah.
And on the 8th of March, towards the end of the season, it was Beeston 1, Surbiton 7.
Yes.
So if we're looking to compare results, I think this is, as it stands, it's a much better performance than that end of season game, in my view.
Yeah.
But the scoreline may not be as good as it was ultimately, because Surbiton in this mood look like they've got more goals in them.
And it comes down to quality of finishing. The Surbiton strikers, they don't need to be given too much of a sight of the ball and the goal, and generally it's on target, and they're very aware in the D of where they can create an opportunity to score.
So 17.5 minutes to play. It would be fair to say at the moment, barring a turnaround for the ages, that the points are going back to Sugden Road and with Surbiton.
And I think the test for Beeston now is to maintain a good quality of performance and not just fall apart, and because of the pressure that Surbiton have put them under, and almost use it as a practice for their next match.
Indeed, it'll be interesting to see just how Beeston react to this in their next fixture. And it would be because in the first hour, first half an hour, it was really a good start and a powerful performance against a very, very strong side.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
And I can't say that things haven't fallen apart, but it's just there's been a divergence in fortune.
Yes, and Surbiton, Beeston won't be the last side that Surbiton do this to, and I think that if Beeston play,
and that's a big ooh from the crowd as well.
I think if Beeston play like this against some of the other sides, then they'll be successful.
Now everyone's being held forward. We've got a long corner, so it must have come across from a Surbiton stick. So long corner, chance to fire the ball in, maybe. Pressure again, and that's easy stuff to defend.
Yes, that ball across the goal was very similar to Surbiton's ball that was bounced across, and of course they got on the end of it, and it's bypassed the Beeston forwards. Good work. Oh, unlucky.
James Gall doing what he can there for Surbiton. That's a short aerial ball, but that's incredibly well found.
And nicely controlled, so obviously quite happy to do that, confidence in their ability to pass and receive.
Indeed, the longer the ball is up the boulevard end, the more difficult it is for Beeston to get back on the score sheet.
Yes, yeah.
Now, out of defence, pressure coming instantly. You would think, if you were coming to the game live, that it was probably Beeston who were attacking the right-hand goal, but it's not. It is Surbiton, and in the white shirts.
I also think if you'd watched some of that first half display, you wouldn't have known too much of a difference between the teams, but the obviously Surbiton are able to maintain it and move away in later phases of the game. It's still worthwhile trying to get into the Surbiton D, win a penalty corner because we haven't had one yet.
For this, let's see how this one, Hujwan has come close to the plate. And it has gone out. When you say we, you mean Beeston in this instance.
Of course,
Beeston
yes,
haven't had a...
forever biased towards Beeston, having been here for 35 years. I find that hard to change, but nevertheless, I think from Beeston's point of view now, they want to, if possible, still get a goal, score get a penalty corner. Something positive that helps them as they go into the next phase of league games.
That's a nice layoff, and indeed that invites the pressure towards the halfway line, which draws out the forwards from Beeston. And that's worked out quite neatly. Now, is there support? Is this a solo run? That's a slip. Nothing in that from the... I was about to say from the umpire's viewpoint, but it has been turned over by the umpire's whistle. And Surbiton moving very quickly again towards halfway.
Yes, yeah. Henry Croft, a lot of space there, but very well shepherded by the Surbiton defender.
Rosen did very well.
Yeah.
Proctor involved, 3 hits. And Proctor
still
looks
trying
a
things.
Tap and go. Goes a long way around. His progress has been hindered. And it's a free hit for Beeston. No cards in the game so far.
No, I think it's not been that type of a game, really. It's been some quality hockey. Nothing niggly or nasty. A lot of clubs now working hard on discipline to make sure that it's not a part of the game, really. They keep it to the quality and not the adverse disciplinary stuff.
Just watching that and how easily that was picked off and then laid off to a teammate. That's the sort of neatness that many teams would aspire to.
Yes, that's right. I mean, whoever makes the first pickup or the tackle, they very quickly get rid of that so that the ball is taken to a safe space, and trying to get to sort of 5-6 connected passes before there's any risk of a turnover.
Things are starting to open up on the Beeston right-hand side. The ball's in towards the baseline. Is this a chance? Penalty corner.
Yes. Well, this is coming in from the right-hand side. It gives you quite a lot of options as a player travelling with the ball to either be tackled or to find a foot, or to just bounce that ball in and make sure that a defender finds it difficult to defend. And it's a pity that Beeston haven't picked up corners earlier.
A little bit of a crowd scene. Is that a given against the goalkeeper, do you feel?
I think it might have been, yeah. I think he was, because of the way that he'd sat down, he might well have blocked the attacker's path to the ball, and Lee Barron's given that as a penalty corner. No, it's Dan Barstow that time, I think.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So, first penalty corner of the game. You've got your wish. Let's see what's happening. You can see 14, Adam Dixon, right on the edge of the circle with a clear number 14 on his back. Let's see. So the delivery is good. Here goes Dixon. It's been turned over, and Surbiton really not wasting any time at all as they bring the ball over the three-quarter line. However, it's beyond the attacker and out of play. So what broke down there in that penalty call?
Well, the save from the keeper put the ball into quite a nice, safe place. The follow-up was missed by any of the Beeston forwards after the flick, and of course that left space for Surbiton to get away. And one of the things about attacking corners is if it does break down in the defence's favour, there can be a hell of a counter-attack against you if you're not set up right.
So it pays to take your opportunities.
It
What's
does.
this rule of 3 as well?
Oh yes. There we go, this is better into play. Surbiton not deflecting the ball off and just giving Beeston another chance. They collect it well because their basics are good, and then they can obviously build up their own play. So keeping the ball very much alive. Lots of action in the game of hockey. There's not many periods of time where there's nothing happening, so players have to be fit.
We're into the 60th minute, so 10 minutes to play. Is there another goal in the Beeston side? I think they certainly deserve more than one in this game. Whether they get more than one is another question entirely.
Yes.
Ball out on the Surbiton left. Into the final quarter of the field and towards the baseline, clipped in towards the circle. And you can see the ball going into the goal, but no goal is scored. The umpire's arm outstretched, and it's a Beeston defensive hit.
Many years ago, Andy, when Beeston found their way back into the National League as it was at the time. They were 5-1 down to a side, Old Loutonians, and they won 6-5. And the 5 goals came in a 22-minute spell.
Were you playing that day, just out of interest?
No, I was still on the bench coaching in those days.
Here's the ball in the circle. Here's better movement. Penalty corner for Beeston.
Another right side build-up, and again it presents you the opportunities to find feet, and so that's twice in the last 2 or 3 minutes they've been able to do that.
Indeed. We know that the prowess and how good Harry Gibson is, one of the Great Britain goalkeepers.
Yes.
So it's going to be a tough nut to score by, but he's already been beaten once. Let's have a look at that again. That found the foot, and I think slightly didn't believe it, Jonty Griffiths, number 11.
Yes. I think one of Harry Gibson's strengths is his positioning is excellent. He's tall, upright, very difficult to find a way past.
Indeed, he's 6'2".
Yes, yeah, and agile, and I think that's a huge advantage for him, really. And equally on short corners, on penalty corners, where you've got a free shot like this, he looks very big in the goal, and you've got to be accurate if you want to get it past him.
Okay, so we can see Dixon. He's the likeliest candidate around the edge of the circle, but it may not go to him. It could be. It is Dixon, and it's popped out. He goes again. Oh, that's a penalty stroke.
Yes.
So a flurry of activity here.
Well, there'll be bound to be some discussion about that, I'm sure. But
indeed, I think there's time for us to have a look at it as Brendan Creed is looking for something. Let's have another look at it. So there was a save in the middle of that, and also. Yeah. So there's Dixon. The first attempt was blocked. It went for a second time. I think it was poured out.
Yeah, I think that's maybe what they're looking at. Yes,
it's a penalty corner. We've had a change in the outcome via discussion from the umpires. Penalty corner is the decision. So penalty corner number 3 for Beeston. Muss's law of 3 comes into play here.
I think that was Tom Salisbury on the line, I think, who I think in the first instance Dan Barstow might have thought he did something with his arm or something of that sort, but then he's actually been seen to have made that save with his stick, I think. Indeed,
I think the left hand pad from Gibson in the goal certainly was the first touch for it. I don't think the player, the outfielder, had much of a chance to do anything.
No.
So it certainly wouldn't have been deliberate, and of course you don't have to be deliberate intention to give away a penalty stroke, but penalty corner it is.
So this is the one that goes in then, Andy.
Let's see. Here's Dixon again, goes out and lays it off, and he receives it, and that is into the goal.
So thankfully that's worked out.
Dixon, beautiful finish. Instead of the 2 previous penalty corners were more direct, this was beautifully worked and fired into the top of the net. Brilliant penalty corner converted by Adam Dixon.
You have to be slick with the passing here, and it's gone beautifully around the number 1 runner, and Adam's the ideal man in that situation, just to slot it into the roof of the net.
So we've had 7 goals. Just we give you good value for money on BTV. 2-5. So I've sort of got my wish that Beeston certainly deserve more than 1 goal in this game.
You have. And it'd be nice to get that 3rd goal just to make it a tight game like we saw in the first half, which of course it was.
But it'll be interesting to see the Surbiton response. They've instantly gone up the other end of the field, but they're attacking the boulevard end and have a free hit in a tough position.
They're one of those classic top sides that get annoyed when you score against them. They see this as an affront.
Indeed, we've seen that from time to time by Surbiton here, and they almost had the ball go their way in the circle. There's a flick ball forward, and Beeston get the free hit. Dixon's attempted aerial ball was touched very, very close.
Just a tennis shot to keep it there, but he's had the desired effect, although Beeston's still on the ball.
Indeed, there seems to be a bit more zip than there was about 10 minutes ago, and progress towards the car park end. The ball's being kept in, and it's a long corner. And where has this been in the second half so far?
Yes, yeah, I think that phase and that 3rd quarter for Surbiton very strong.
Corner again.
Beeston, when analysing this, will look at that 3rd quarter. I think it's things didn't go quite their way, to say the least.
If you were getting this commentary via another channel, you might get me to really sell the final 6 minutes or so. But this, I really don't think we will see a Lazarus-style comeback in the 7 minutes. But it'd be interesting to see how Beeston carry on here as they're in the circle. And play has been held up by the umpire's whistle again.
That was a shame, because that little bit of quicker skill there might have given them another penalty corner.
Very gentle, nice use of the hands to get the ball into the air from the Surbiton defence. For a moment, I thought they'd won the ball back, but it's very neat. Moved it out to the Surbiton left, lay off.
Make it look quite simple, don't they? They pass the ball to the free player, and it's out of range of defenders, and so you can spend a bit of time trying to get it back because they keep it for so long.
Indeed. Sometimes you can survive so much pressure that you get a little bit nervous when you're in possession.
Yes, that's right. The yips.
As a slip. Is it a Beeston ball? It is.
Yeah.
And I can't say yes, it's definitely not a comeback. We're in for a bit of a grandstand finish here. Beeston,
but it's a good fight,
and
I think that's right, Andy. I think certainly under the circumstances, this is what you would want to see from Beeston, and not at any kind of a capitulation, but one where they're fighting their way, even though they're 3 goals adrift.
Indeed, and it's a season where goal difference could be vital.
Yes.
Because the 11-team situation, it could make the difference between which part of the competition you go into in the second half of the season.
Yes, that's right. Different type of a league this year, with playing for a top 6 space.
Hujwan's come out a long way, and he's done very well to not sit on the ball. Good decision. He was out at the goal like a shot.
Yep, exactly the right decision there. If he'd have waited, I think he would have been quite easily beaten. Beeston committing forward to try and get another goal, and there's a lot of space at the back, but then that's what you try to do in these adverse situations.
Ball is slid through and through everybody. 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go on BTV. 3 points certainly look like they're going the way back down to Sugden Road, Surbiton's home ground.
And I think when you have to recognise when you're playing a very good side in Surbiton, and keeping the scoreline looking reasonable is part of the way in which you set yourself up and build confidence. And if they could at least keep this, or maybe get another goal, that would be good.
Indeed, in around about. It's a free hit for Beeston. We'll have the pop-up in a few moments of the player of the match, so we'll stand by. We don't know who that is, but that will pop up in a few moments' time. Here's the layoff. Huge amounts of white shirts. It's almost like an insult when Surbiton concede, isn't it?
It is, yes. And there's no let-up in their defence and their willingness to keep things tight.
Willar's under pressure, and it looks like he's given away a free hit. And look at the speed already from Surbiton.
Yeah.
Still fresh as the start of the day. Hujwan happy to watch the ball float under his foot. Confident goalkeeping there, rather than...
Yeah, and Surbiton obviously a training ground drill, really. You get that breaks forward instantly into the D near the penalty spot, and the ball just fired in, and it didn't quite come off for them.
Goal, the corner flag now, just getting brushed. Who's closest to it? Nice take from Zach Wallace. By the way, if you're watching this on the replay, Zach Wallace, happy birthday for Tuesday of this week. He's going to be
right.
He's going to be 21 years old.
Yes. Well, Zach was one of the players at Surbiton who might have headed off to Holland, but for coronavirus, I think there was a chance that Alan Forsyth and he would have gone to play some Dutch hockey.
For anybody new to this, that's the top league in Europe, isn't it? The Hoofdklasse.
It is, yeah.
Nice slide in. Is this a shooting opportunity? Oh, well mopped up in the Surbiton defence, and I think that's one of those moments why it's the champion. You can see the player of the match is Tom Crowson as this approaches the baseline at the Boulevard end. Penalty corner.
Yes, they could have done without that, Beeston. I think obviously in committing to try to get this third goal to make that scoreline look very reasonable against a side like Surbiton that's left them a bit open at the back, so they'll be very keen to keep this out.
There's a whole mix of legs in the middle of that, so it could be anybody, to be honest. I'm not clear at all where that was, who that came off, but the end result, all the same, is a penalty corner. So, eyes focusing over to inject the ball. Brendan Creed. Do we have Luke Taylor on the field? I'm not sure we do.
No. But if you look at the speed of this injection, it takes the defence a long time to match that kind of speed. There it is, straight. Oh, and it's mistrapped.
It is still live. There's a shooting chance here towards the baseline. Beeston looking to defend it. They've come away with the ball under an intense amount of pressure here and got the ball towards the sideline. But Surbiton get it back really quickly. Neat around the edge of the circle. Good block with a stick. It was, I thought, but it is not. It is another penalty corner.
It's amazing, isn't it, how when you're as determined as Surbiton are, they've it hasn't gone well for them. They mistrapped the short corner. They still managed to get an opportunity close into the keeper, and even when it was released by a Beeston defender, they found a way back into the D. So very potent strike force, and a lot of that comes from their midfield build-up and the way that those midfielders service the forward line.
It is full time, but this being a penalty corner means that play will continue until the penalty corner completes. So it'll either be Surbiton 6 or no goal. Let's see. That's defended on the line, and it's a repeat penalty corner.
Well, the players from the top of the D for Surbiton ran in to deflect, and I think Simon Hudron saw that very neatly and made a save there. Fortunately, it went high in the air, so it became dangerous, so it was given as a repeat penalty corner. Shame in a way, because it takes a lot of reaction, a quick reaction from Simon Hudron for that.
Surbiton can afford to have more players up front, which is why you're seeing a mass of white here. That's very low, and that's another repeat penalty corner. That's 3 in succession, so the game continues to rumble on.
Nick Park running number 1, straight down the barrel of the shot that was coming back at him, and it's hit his foot and gone off, or his leg.
So whilst you're watching the replay, we're watching the live outside the field of play, and sometimes you can have too many cooks, but I think it's clear what the plan is. It's probably James Gall will be closest to this one, but we'll see.
Well, these number of Surbiton players will be keen to keep the ball in the D if it's saved and runs loose. That's why they're all there. So they're all.
Down he goes, and that is over the line, and that is the full-time whistle. What a game we brought you today. Very good. On BTV. Every game should aspire to be as good as this that we've seen over the past 70 minutes. What a performance from both teams, and it was a blisteringly close first half with just the 1 goal separating the sides.
Yes. But
Surbiton coming away with all 3 points.
And I think also that when you're playing against the top side in the country like that, you want to have a good performance, and parts of that for Beeston were excellent. It was only in the third quarter, as we say, that things slipped a little bit for them, and of course Surbiton took advantage of that.
Wow, wow, wow. So Tom Crowson, if you missed it a few moments ago, was awarded Player of the Match. Congratulations to him. Let me run you through the scoring sequence if we're able to bring that up onto screen. No, okay then. Well, I'll talk you through the scoring sequence then. Surbiton scoring first through Rob Farrington. Equalising goal coming from Lucas Alcalde. We thought we got a good game in our hands with both goals coming in the first 10 minutes. You can see it was the first goal was in 6 minutes from Rob Farrington. Lucas Alcalde equalising on 8 minutes. And the next goal actually took quite a long time to come. James Gall on the half hour restoring Surbiton's lead, and there was no looking back for them from that point. Luke Taylor scoring a penalty corner, as customary for Surbiton, on 44 minutes. Ben Boone with the first of his 2 on 50, and then the second on 52. Adam Dixon, as seems to be the way for him at the moment, converting a penalty corner on 61. So plenty of goals. I think Adam Dixon's goal was probably the best of all of them. A lovely finish into the roof of the net, but we've seen some excellent skills. Players of any age, this is the sort of play that you would aspire to be part of. that is it for the commentary on BTV today. Beeston 2, Surbiton 5, the final score. A quick look at the other fixtures in the men's competition today, because some of the games are still going on up to a conclusion, and also we'll see an updated table. So it is all over for the first games. In fact, all the games are now complete. Exeter 2, East Grinstead 6, final score. Old Georgians 8, Durham 0, final score. Brooklands 1, Wimbledon 4 is a final score. Oxford Holcombe taking the points 1-3. So the table hasn't quite updated yet, but Surbiton move on to 6 points and a goal difference in the double figures. East Grinstead are up there as well as Holcombe. So Beeston remain on 1 point, but a really good performance from the Bees.
Yes.
BTV will be back with you next week. I guess we've got a game every week between now and more or less Christmas. Saturday the 3rd of October, it's a 2 o'clock start. Beeston versus Swansea women. Nottingham Hockey Centre is where we're at, and you can watch it on btv.live. As ever now, you can watch it on Notts TV every Wednesday at 9 PM. That's Notts TV. Steve Musson, thank you very much for your company in our COVID secure commentary box today. Yeah. And from me, Andy Day, it's been a pleasure keeping you company on a nice sunny day at Nottingham. Beeston have their first home game, but it's Surbiton that are going home with all 3 points. I think this is an indication of the pace this game is going to be played at.
I think that's right. This is the dangerous bit. The turnovers from Beeston will come back to haunt them if they're not careful.
Into the circle from the word go, and that flash is just wide of the upright. I think that was Ben Boone with a reverse side shot.
That's what would worry me most of all, Andy. The turnover in the count. Stop this kind of interplay from the Surbiton players.
I'm just out of breath watching this. This is a real big start. And have we had the first penalty corner of the game? I think we have. Yeah,
some tight interplay on the D edge there, and a little deflection onto a Beeston foot inside the D, and that leads to a...
Yeah. 2 options around the edge of the circle. You can see the players just further back. It is, and it's been repelled by the Beeston defence, still live. And that is the opening goal of the game. Surbiton have scored, and it is Alan Forsyth. I think he's taken the credit.
Well, what a shame, because the
crossfield diagonal ball, that's bounced, should be picked up in the circle. That's worked out really nicely for Beeston. At the baseline, is that turned in?
Yes.
It is, it's an equalising goal for Beeston.
Now that is the perfect response.
And indeed, it's Alcalde who's turned the ball in from close range.
The build-up play for that.
But the stick didn't interfere with the play.
Robbie Gleeson dropping his stick there. But again, we've got that.
Oh, here's a shooting opportunity. Hujwan comes in and hits the outside of the goal, head in his hands. Alan Forsyth, real golden opportunity for him, and not taken. Being held up there for a free hit. A little bit of frustration coming out from the Surbiton forwards. Ball played in towards the penalty spot. Could be a shooting opportunity. Loose ball blasted and in for the second for Surbiton.
I think that's been deflected in from James Gall. We'll see it again. Opportunities. Oh, it's unlucky. Effectively bounces off the Beeston forwards. Space again, there we go.
Turned it on very quickly. There's a player over here. Hujwan has been beaten, but the ball is wide of the upright. And you can see the arms out. Again, coming from the Beeston defence, try and win the ball back, make Surbiton go the long way. It's out towards the right-hand side, pulling the Beeston defence this way and that's a penalty corner, first of the second half.
Yeah, the transfer, that pitch, high up the pitch, transferred very quickly out of a tight corner for Surbiton and across to the other side, gave space for David. Also run other players in front of the goalkeeper and the 2 post defenders, just to make things complicated.
A little bit of movement for Scythe this time, and that is the third.
Low and hard, and there you go. It's makes it look very simple, really, and it's. Well, Gareth Griffiths needed to be very strong on that, and it's left a...
Hujwan is down, and that is another one.
I mean, I don't know who's got a clock on that, but I think that was 7 seconds from the ball with Gareth Griffiths to being put in the...
For the visitors, 15 seconds till three-quarter time.
Not a lot of hesitation from Surbiton in the way that they fire the ball around.
Yes, it's been fired in. Is that been turned in? Yes, it is.
Really good example there of getting the ball into the D.
He's the likeliest candidate around the edge of the circle, but it may not go to him. It could be. It is Dixon, and it's popped out. He goes again. Oh, that's a penalty stroke.
Yes.
So a flurry of activity here.
Well, there'll be bound to be some discussion about that.
Penalty corner it is.
So this is the one that goes in then, Andy.
Let's see. Here's Dixon again. Goes out and lays it off and he receives it. And that is into the goal.
So thankfully that's worked out.
Dixon, beautiful finish. Instead of the two previous penalty corners were more direct. Approaches the baseline at the Boulevard end. Penalty corner.
Yes, they could have done without that, Beeston. I think obviously in committing to try to get this third goal to make that scoreline look very reasonable against a side like Surbiton. It's left
with the ball under an intense amount of pressure here and got the ball towards the sideline, but Surbiton get it back really quickly. Neat around the edge of the circle. Good block with a stick. It was, I thought, but it is not. It is another penalty corner.
It's amazing, isn't it, how when you're as determined as Surbiton are, they've...
6 or no goal. Let's see. That's defended on the line, and it's a repeat penalty corner. Well,
the players from the top of the D for Surbiton ran in to deflect, and I think Simon Hudron saw that. It takes a lot of reaction, a quick reaction from Simon Hudron for that.
Surbiton can afford to have more players up front, which is why you're seeing a mass of white here. That's low, and that's another repeat penalty corner. That's 3 in succession, so the game continues to rumble on. Down he goes, and that is over the line, and that is the full-time whistle. What a game we brought you today.
Very good.
On BTV. Every game should aspire to be as good as this that we've seen over the past 70 minutes. What a performance from both teams, and it was a blisteringly close